Hey folks, I'm out in the field today. This is one of my favorite spots in all of Malibu. You can see for miles from up here. I can't tell you how much sea life I've spotted just with my binoculars just sitting up here. Today I'm going to do a monthly wrap-up from this location. In case you're not familiar with it, it's where I take clips from the last 4 or 5 weeks, recent clips that didn't make the final edit of my normal videos on my channel. And this month, there was a lot of shark activity. We are in peak shark activity here in Southern California, and stick around to the end. You might see something that'll make you laugh. I know it made me laugh because I kind of look like a fool in some of those moments, but let's get right into it and enjoy the monthly wrap-up for July. First up, a paddleboarder who quickly changed his mind about going out after spotting this shark. The board looks to be about 10 or 11 feet long, so while this isn't a giant, it's still a surprise for anyone expecting only small juveniles near shore. Notice the paddleboarder doesn't panic, but he does give the shark some space. If this were you, would you turn back as well? I get asked all the time how close to shore these encounters occur, and this is a textbook example of where white sharks typically hang out here. A few minutes later, the same paddleboarder tried again, just a bit further down the beach. And wouldn't you know it, another shark. This time a smaller one made an appearance. In classic white shark fashion, it circles to get behind him. How they always seem to know what the front and the back is so interesting to me. It's quite fascinating, isn't it? Once the shark realized he wasn't a threat, it moved on, but not completely. Here you see it go straight toward a nearby yacht. As the shark approached, it likely got close enough that anyone on board could have seen it if they were looking. And sure enough, someone notices and walks alongside the rail, keeping pace with the shark. The curious shark continued alongside the yacht before dipping into the depths below. That was not the only shark to approach, though. Here's the larger shark from earlier getting curious as well. Eventually, the shark goes on its way. Encounters like this are a good reminder that white sharks often investigate large objects on the surface. Not because they see them as food, but because they're curious and checking out their surroundings. And the biggest reminder of all, they happen to be very close to shore often. Speaking of close to shore, my most intriguing moment last month happened just a mile from the Santa Monica Pier. I filmed a massive 15-foot white shark, one of the biggest I've ever seen here. And the footage went viral, and you may have actually seen me on several newscasts. If you missed that video, you'll want to check it out. Now here's a question I get asked all the time. How hard is it to spot a white shark from the water's surface? To find out, I ran an experiment with my friends Glenn and Eric. They were in a kayak, and I filmed the same shark from above with my drone while they filmed from their perspective on the water. The difference is dramatic. Check this out. If you've watched my channel for a while, this won't surprise you. The aerial view wins every time. At this moment, the drone is directly over a white shark. From the kayak, it's basically invisible. That's the power of counter shading. The darker top blends with the deep water, making the shark vanish at sea level. At best, you might catch a faint shadow, as Glenn did here, but most days you'd never know it was there. As Glenn and Eric paddled closer, they finally spotted it, and Glenn dropped the camera underwater for a different perspective. Almost instantly, the shark sped off. I've noticed this before. Sometimes the second a camera hits the water, the shark reacts, maybe sensing it right away. I don't know, but it happens quite often. In this case, the shark did its usual move, circling back to get behind them before gliding away, just like they usually do. For Glenn and Eric, it was an unforgettable moment and a clear lesson in just how hard it is to spot a shark without an aerial view. And in case you're wondering if I ever go out on a kayak, yes, I do. In fact, on this same day, my buddy Dan, whose last name I'm going to withhold for good reason, and you'll see why, we decided to go see a shark for ourselves. Now, Eric was on shore, flying the drone. He would be our spotter. Unfortunately, we never saw a shark, but what we did do is entertain everyone on the beach. Here's why. Yeah, we weren't very graceful about it. You see, having lived next to the ocean for years, I have kayaked many, many times, even though you may not believe it seeing this footage. But let's just say I'm nowhere near as good on a kayak as I am with a drone. Speaking of drones, Eric is flying the drone here, getting what would be the best footage of that day. It's at this moment that I learned that Dan has never actually kayaked on the ocean before. I don't know how he didn't tell me that. I've known him for years, but this was a perfect time to find that out. On the third attempt though, we did manage to get out there. I told him to get in the kayak and I pulled him out into the deeper water, and then I got in myself and we were able to successfully get in after 3 tries. Oh, and right here, look closely. That is a big stingray right beside us. I did not see it at the time, but that's a pretty big stingray right there. If I would have stepped on that thing, it would not have been good.
I'm out here with my buddy Dan. We crashed a few times getting the kayak out here.
Carlos crashed. I did great.
Well, we're waiting for a shark. I want to try to kayak next to a shark, so we'll see what happens. I got the expert kayaker in the back.
As you can probably tell, kayaking is not my preferred means of travel. Hang on to the end of this video to see us try to get back to land dry. All right, so let's get into one more highlight from the past month. This one, I'm going to spare you the gory details, but it does involve a couple sharks that were not interested in a floating sea lion carcass. I've circled the carcass here. It's not in a good state, so that's about as close a view as I'm going to share with you here. Upon close inspection, the carcass did have one single bite on it, but other than that, it didn't seem touched. Now, there were 2 separate sharks nearby, and neither one of them approached the carcass. There's a couple things to remember here. The carcass is rather large, and the sharks are what I would call small, young-of-the-year white sharks. In other words, they are small in what's likely their first year of life. But there was a larger juvenile white shark nearby, big enough to probably want to investigate the sea lion, but it too was not interested. So the carcass ended up drifting over a mile without as much as a shark getting close. Eventually it washed up right onto the beach, and the sharks, well, they just moved on by. Like in most cases, I'm always left with more questions than answers when observing white sharks. This past month, observing these white sharks, the activity has really risen. I did spend some time last week in the Sea of Cortez. That was an epic time. I was scuba diving there. We saw sea lions and all kinds of ocean critters, white-tip reef sharks. I saw silky sharks, and this whale shark right here. You know, scuba diving is now my new favorite thing to do. Thanks to my friends over at Nautilus Liveaboards and at Mades, I'm absolutely hooked. I can't wait to bring you episodes that feature aerial and underwater footage in the future. It's going to be a real benefit to the channel, and I can't wait to be in the water again soon. Quick reminder, I'm now doing YouTube live episodes straight from the drone. I did a couple, 3 or 4 this past week, where I'm able to transmit live from the drone to you guys directly. So turn on your notifications. Last week, within seconds of starting the live stream, we had a shark turn completely on its side, showing us why they are called white sharks. Pretty awesome. All right, so that's going to do it for this episode of the monthly wrap up. As always, I can't thank you guys enough for the support. Your likes, your comments, and your subscriptions mean the world to me. The easiest way to continue supporting this channel is to drop a comment and like the videos. It really does make a world of difference. There's a lot of AI slop out there, and I'm trying to win the battle and give you guys fresh, new shark content every single week. Things that you've never seen before but are real. That's what I'm trying to do. So your support is greatly appreciated. I will be releasing a new video next week, the cinematic stuff that I normally do, so stay on the lookout for that. And oh, before I forget, here's the clip of me and my buddy Dan going back to shore from our kayaks and trying to stay dry. Don't laugh too much. We did make it. We really did. Thanks for watching.